good afternoon, good evening, Jar of Marble dwellers and Jar of Marble curious. My name is Linda and this is Jar of Marbles. And where's Bob? I'm here. Oh, you're playing hard to get today, are you? Might be. Oh, very good. Now, look, I'm so glad that you're here because we're coming together and we're just going to have a little conversation about this and that. And I've got some good news though today. I had a credit for flying overseas, which was running out, has been extended for over 2 more years. Good on you, Air New Zealand. They sure know how to do good business. So happy days, Marble dwellers. I was really feeling that I was going to have to make a decision and throw some money, at everything else that, comes with going overseas. But I just wasn't ready and I've got too much going on. So a 2-year extension is very, very good. I was feeling a little bit under the pump about it. So I've got no desire to jump on a plane at the moment, and maybe within the next 2 years I might. So anywho, today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about red flags in yourself.
Red doesn't really make my eyes pop.
Oh, well, thanks for that, Bob.
I'm more green and light blue.
I'm talking about when there are signs you're not looking out for yourself.
I knew that.
Good. Now, number one red flag can be you are self-deprecating and constantly putting yourself down. So the act of self-deprecating oneself is a way to avoid confrontation, but can be a smart move, especially if insults are flying and you find yourself in a shitty situation. By the same token, it can be when we hold ourselves not in good regard. I was listening to a debate on TV and it was about AI intelligence and how it can get it wrong and how it is not helping our brains in terms of learning. If we're not learning, our brains don't change, and we really need for our brains to be changing. We are then unable to perform critical thinking, which brings me to the second red flag. Has to be, are you utilising critical thinking? For example, I might be trying to interpret an angry friend's needs expressed through a rush of emotion and unpleasant comments in order to give that friend some help and support, to be balanced enough not to take things personally, so you're open-hearted enough to have reasoning skills and mindset characteristic of a strong critical thinker helps us not to take the world personally, even when it seems to be trying to make it personal. It is still about them. These are serious skills and you can have them. And one of my most favourite sayings by Dr. Seuss, be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter and those who matter don't mind. Don't you love it? I do. And there we go, Dr. Seuss. Good on you, mate. We can get invested in others and think we have to fix it, help. And the red flag can be, did they ask? Are you signing up for the wrong reasons? Hence why critical thinking through learning new skills, reading different books, watching documentaries, films, and as advised by some schools of thought, subjects you might not be usually drawn to enhance learning and broadening, our worldviews. Simply put, changing how we feel about ourselves is as simple as saying a different narrative to ourselves. That part is dead simple. The challenging bit is the thing we can lack, which is, good old discipline, remembering to say, the same things to, that are helping you, a mantra, if you will, saying these things to yourself regularly and every day and throughout the day, whatever your mantra be. There are simple ones, and it is really important to find a sentence or a word that resonates with you, that makes you think and feel lighter. I'm stronger than my excuses. My personal favourite, a transurfing line, is my world is taking care of me. This immediately shifts me from thinking about nothing that is helpful. Another mantra or word could be love, it could be God, peace, or any word that immediately shifts you to a lighter place. Whatever it is for you that stops the monkey brain from just wasting your life and not elevating your mood. We can all fall into rabbit holes. It can be a shitty situation followed perhaps by another, and we can get stuck in the sense that it is our fault or we deserved it, or feel sorry for ourselves and think and or talk about nothing else. And when we think and or talk about nothing else, it starts feeling true when all it is regurgitated annoyances. The more we repeat it, the worse we feel. So right there lies the answer. There lies the opportunity to change what you're telling yourself. I know I'm getting bugged by rubbish thinking when I'm arguing my point of view to myself all by myself.
Yes, I've heard you do that.
Yes, that's me talking to the expert.
Who's that?
Me, Bob. Now, Now and then it rises up and something that annoyed me 23 years ago suddenly has front space in my brain and I'm saying what I'd like to say, all the while knowing it's utter chaos. It's over. It is of no worth to me or anyone. And so I tell myself, my world is taking care of me and I just get on with it and I move on to something else, whether it's buttering my toast or go and meditate quietly, garden softly, and without any other effort, the nonsense floats back from whence it came, and what a relief.
Question.
Yes, Bob?
No, Bob, I'm asking a question.
Is your self-worth entirely based on other people's estimation of you?
I hope not.
It is so easy for our self-worth to be based on how others view us. According to some studies, as much as 10% of our thoughts involve comparisons of some kind. Social comparison theory is the idea that individuals determine their own social and personal worth based on how they stack up against others. The theory was developed in 1954 by psychologist Leon Festinger. Meanwhile, back in 2023, Leon Festinger, old boy, I would say not too much has changed, even if you look at social platforms alone and the disconnection that has created. According to a study by Jennifer Crocker, PhD psychologist at the University of Michigan's Institute for Social Research, people who base their self-esteem on what others think and not on their value as human beings might pay a mental and physical price. She said, "We really think that if people could adopt goals not focused on their own self-esteem but on something larger than their self, such as what they can create or contribute to others, they would be less susceptible to some of the negative than the self." And number 4 is you'd rather ghost, avoid, self-sabotage than communicate and handle conflict.
Jeez, that sounds pretty messy to me.
Well, some people deserve bloody ghosting, don't they, marble dwellers? Boo! Yeah, good one, Bob. And you know what? In general, depending what the conflict is, it's mostly bollocks and not a bad idea to avoid it. If you feel like you have to avoid someone, then it has to be for a good reason. We don't do that for nothing. Of course, this is in no way one size fits all, but not everyone is entitled to your truth. Not everyone will be able to, get it either and give you some platitude that just confirms that they don't understand, and there you are needing to be understood. And you have to understand that they don't understand. Yeah, been there. If you know that you are sabotaging or you feel like you are, you can talk to someone who isn't involved and you might be surprised that you actually have a good reason or for feeling the way you do. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm on your side.
Yeah, me too.
And the 5th red flag in yourself, you have extremely high expectations of yourself and are hard on yourself when you can't keep up. I mean, gosh, I know this nugget personally.
Yeah, me too. Well, yeah, right up close and personal.
That's right, Bob. Beat myself up because I didn't understand a software package in an hour. It's just so ridiculous. The pressure. What about when you start a new job and you're under so much pressure to understand, how they do things, their processes, whatever, and then they have processes there for you to follow, but their processes aren't actually accurate. They've been changing them along the line, but they haven't updated their processes. And then they've got ding-dongs at work there that won't give you any hints as to how to do your job. So it can really feel, like so much pressure, and then we busy beat ourselves up when we really, really shouldn't. I just think some things are just not worth a sniff of our fart.
You said fart.
That's right, Bob, I did. Man, I was the worst. It still creeps in, but oh my lordy, when I was a young poppy, I was so driven that nothing could have got in my way.
A bulldozer?
Yeah, it would have taken that, and that would have been if it could catch me.
Oh, wow.
Look, we all learn at different speeds and in different ways, and there was a time when this was not common knowledge, hence why I think it's a bit late in being applied. I know people who are bloody brilliant and they can't spell to save themselves, but they're really smart. And all they focus on is the fact they can't spell. Beat themselves up for good measure. Look, you're smart as all hell. Who cares about your spelling? Anyone that's been shit about your spelling was in awe of your smarts and didn't want you to know. Now that's really low, right? So can't give them an applause. Moving on. So even if you do really, really well and you can't see it, it still isn't good enough. This is a job for the expert, and the expert is you. That's right. Got to own it. Got to own it. You can turn this around. The brain is waiting for your instructions, so make them good ones. Yes and yes. It is actually that simple. It is a game of repetition, and then it can become your default thinking. Think good, strong things about yourself, you genius. Just own it.
Yeah, I'm a genius.
You are, Bob. I'm a genius. We're all geniuses. That's right. So now we're on to number 6. You try to manage or control other people and their decisions for them. Well, this is a beauty of a suggestion. Is this you? Has this been you? Or could this be you? Manage or control your adult children. Make all their decisions for them. Or always poking your nose in with your far more superior suggestions. Do you put your hand up because you always have, even though you're exhausted? If I put my hand up now for anything, my kids won't let me if I appear even the least bit tired or if they know life has been full on for me. They simply won't hear of it. We want to help, yes we do, but not if you're crazy tired and clearly not up to it. Have you always seen yourself as their manager? You know best. Maybe you do, but long term these kind of arrangements fall apart and you become the last person they want to see and you're left wondering why. And maybe they are. But back off Einstein, it is simple. It's just simply not on. Let others make their own decisions. Voicing your opinion on their purchases, you might think their TV doesn't need to be that big or, well, it does with you or without you. How is your life going on? Are you going along well? Or are you living vicariously through your kids or other people? I've seen this in colour in the front row seat, seeing people believe that they are right to do this. In fact, I don't think they even think. It's just what they do. It's not though. It's hard to watch. Stop putting your life on hold. Stop obligation and manage yourself. So there we go. We'll just have a little clap there. Could you? Would you? Good. Thank you. Anyway, number 7 of the red flag situation. You're constantly scrolling on social media. It is such a weird look. People scrolling instead of looking around them. Parents pushing prams, scrolling on their phones. Heads down in cars, the driver scrolling. It's so obvious what they're doing. I mean, it's truly nuts. A room full of people at a medical centre, head all bowed into the little screen. Super strange. It's kind of psychotic looking, everyone locked into their little screens. I have rules while driving, for example, my phone's in my bag on the floor. There's no chance I'm looking at it. If anyone really needs to contact me, obviously through the Bluetooth, I can take that call on my car. But, there's no chance I'm looking at my phone. Now, if I was running the country, I may need my head on my phone. But
Wouldn't you have an EA?
yes, Bob, true. But I'm not running the country.
Yeah, but if you were.
Well, yes, Bob, if I were.
Well, can I be your EA?
Yes, Bob. But as I was trying to say,
Yes.
I can, however, pick up my phone when I get home, do a scrolling exercise and suddenly realise that I've lost 20 minutes. I know. So that has just got very boring. And then, when you get those announcements to say, you were up on last week's, your time on the phone, or you were down a percentage on the time on the phone, and mine's gone way down. It's not the first thing I pick up in the morning. I'm just not interested in it because I will get to it, but it's not a major part of my life. And you think, 20 minutes isn't that long. But when you then can turn that into 40 minutes, and that's only the first session, that's not counting 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 8 other times you may look at your phone through the course of the day.
Is that an age thing?
How so, Bob?
Well, you lost 20 minutes.
You're so funny. Good one. I'm going to put you back in the box that I got you from, Bob, if you don't watch it.
Yeah, okay then.
So over the years, when I sort of look back at different times in my life where, had been engaged in being too helpful to the point that I was probably being a pain in the ass, and that I'm signing up for activities that you really only want to do once now and again, like say help moving, because how would they manage without you? They would manage. It's called being an adult and actually getting down and doing what needs to be done. I have long lost the need to save the world. It actually can't be done, and instead, if too much saving goes on, you end up with more problems, don't you, than you started with, and sometimes you end up being the problem. Heck. Those times were opportunities to grow, continue growing yourself, except perhaps more mindfully. There seems to be space when you are going through a reset, going through a change. Say adult kids are leaving home. There arrives a void that only they can fill, and it feels like that for a while. But then the joy of your own space and time arrives. Another stage has begun, and what to fill it with? Is it time for a new job? Start that hobby career that you felt you didn't have the time for? Less reasons to hold yourself back. This is the moment not to fill in your day with running aspects of their life. It could really help them. This is the stop part. I'm not saying don't help your kids, not at all. I love helping my kids. But what I am saying is make sure that you have a life that is yours, or at least an aspect that is all yours, that you are running your own show. If you've been running everyone else's show for all time, then this will fall on deaf ears. You'll be so invested and so dug in that you'll probably not know what the heck I'm talking about. And if you do, you might not be ready to jump ship and go and get a life that is more on par with bringing joy into yours. It's that old balance nugget, isn't it? It sure can be hard to do sometimes, but if on average you're achieving that, then you're doing better than most. I hope you can just keep on choosing you. I hope you can start to choose you. Choose you. I don't know about you, but when I feel I have choices, it makes me feel powerful. Having choices or options is typically seen as a good thing, and we know that each decision we make has consequences for the present and future you. I think about my future me quite a bit as in a frame that holds a nice mix of my family and friends, and also doing my solo adventures too. I'm someone who's always enjoyed and needed my own space and time. Not much, but I just have to know I have it. Having choices allows us to control our lives, which will make us feel more confident and playful. Simultaneously, having no choice due to no options isn't good either. That is always worth a good look at. Why there are no options? Is that your choice or someone else's? Then there's having lots of options. I relish that, much rather lots to think and consider. To me, it signals change and possible adventure. I believe that the advantages of having choice far outweighs the negative.
Do I have lots of choices?
You do, Bob. If you feel you don't, you could always invent some. That's fun too.
Oh, all right then.
Each of us is making hundreds of decisions every day, and every decision involves at least two or more choices. A decision could be a choice between yes or no. But most of our decisions, even the little ones, are made between several available options, and it takes energy and time to make a decision and to save us from having to attend to them all. We habituate decision making so that we no longer have to choose every time. Examples of habituated choices are cleaning our teeth before bed, our choice of tea or coffee, wine, our route to work, and the side of the bed we're going to get out of, and what clothes we tend to wear to certain places. These things require no thought. They are habits, and they happen automatically because we made a choice sometime in the past and are comfortable with the outcome.
Sometimes I forget to clean my teeth.
That's not good, Bob. I love the idea of new directions.
I don't always forget.
Well, that's good, Bob. Just a sense of a new direction I love.
Well, I probably forgot once this year.
All right, Bob. It encourages us to learn, to step outside of your own ideas and consider all of the other different perceptions. That way you can begin to see possibilities beyond your own decision-making process. When asked why about a decision, because that's the way we have always done it, is not a valid response if we desire progress. It's the why do we always do it that way. I see it as fun. Some things are best left as they are. I don't need to get out of the opposite side of my bed, for example. That will not do much for me. But if I wanted to shake things up a bit after not doing much of anything, it might be somewhere to start.
I get out of bed on the opposite side sometimes when I find a spider in my bed.
Thanks, Bob. I did once decide to get out of bed on the opposite side. I got my ankle caught in a sheet somehow, ended up hanging on the other side, most unceremoniously, kind of nearly unmaking the entire bed, and I wrenched at it to get out of the damn bed.
Oh, I've got a joke.
Oh, that's great. Let's hear it.
A mother was calling to her son, "Come on, Victor, you have to get out of bed or you'll be late for school." And Victor said, "Mum, do I have to? All the teachers hate me and all the students hate me too." His mother said, "Yes, you do." And Victor said, "Give me one good reason." And the mother said, "Because you're 48 and you're the principal."
It wasn't bad, Bob. Quite good.
Yeah, no. Thank you for that.
Well, Marble Crew, it's that time again. I hope you're doing really, really well and being mindful of those sneaky red flags in your own life.
Yeah.
And say g'day to the family for me. Give the galah away.
That was very quick. We were suddenly here and we're suddenly not.
Well, goodbyes sometimes have to be quick, Bob.
Oh, okay.
And I'll see you next time, okay?
Goodbye.
All right. Bye.
Goodbye. Goodbye.